Hey, hey, how's it going? Please look at my signs before I get started. I did pull some cards. In fact, I'm just going to show you what cards I pulled. So this one's from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. This one's from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And all of these are from the Light Seer deck. They are tarot. Oracle. And you got to read my palm. Ooh, what an adventure. What an adventure in the divinical arts. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit before I got started with the cards because either the last video or the one before it, I mentioned something that I had seen, like it just popped up in my mind, and I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with it, and it was, I couldn't remember the name of it, but it was a sacred geometry shape, and it's the star tetrahedron, which is the merkaba, which I used to talk about a lot more, but I love it. There's just so many things in the world but to talk about. But the last time I talked about the merkaba, I was talking about seeing the triangles all the time in my head and pyramid shapes, and particularly triangles that start out point to point, tip to tip, and then like merge into each other, so it turned into a Star of David, basically, if you can visualize that. And I had said that's the merkaba. And I was thinking that the pyramid things that I was seeing, like sometimes it was obviously a pyramid because it was just a pyramid, but other times it was like the shape would just morph, you know? I mean, I tried to explain it. It's like if you, like, I first see it as convex, where the point, like all the shape is normal of the pyramid. And then I'd be looking at it, and then all of a sudden the tip would disappear, like it would start going down, and it wouldn't flip. It would like start out like this and then just kind of go down into itself until the tip was pointing down, and then all of a sudden the base of the pyramid would be at the top, if that makes any sense. So it would go from convex to super concave, like just collapse in on itself. And so I'm seeing that, and eventually I figured out that that was like the merkaba locomoting, moving around, propulsion. So, I am awake. I mean, I'm not sleeping, but the other two. So, I just kind of, I mean, that was like my realization that, okay, those triangles and pyramids were, well, the pyramids were representing a pyramid, but the triangle shapes were representing the merkaba. And I don't know, that it just, I didn't like read it anywhere. It just like clicked one day, like, oh, okay. It's just like, this thing that totally doesn't make sense makes sense. Excuse me, I'm like super congested. I have been for a couple of days, and it's not just me. It's like the pollen around here is out of control. But anyway, so, but that was a while ago when I talked about that last, like probably a couple of months. And so it just wasn't on my mind. Like, it is in a way, because when I meditate, if I close my eyes, I'm still seeing triangles, but lately what I've been seeing is these are not triangles, but they have tips. So imagine these two tips are attached to triangle shapes. So I've been seeing this basically, and I'm looking at it going, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? What does that even mean? And then one day, I mean, this was actually a few weeks ago or a month ago or something that this happened that I'm talking about, but I'm looking at the two triangles in my mind and go, what the heck is that? And then I realize, oh God, I look at, what is that? Oh my God, what is that? Ugh, sorry. But that's kind of what I was doing. And then I realized, oh, like, it's not like totally triangles. It was a butterfly is what I'm getting at. It was a spring thing. So yeah, interpreting this stuff, like, I'm just getting the hang of it, I guess. So it's not instantaneous. So I was thinking though about what happened a couple of days ago. Actually, my readings are not coming out like every day because it's just taken a year and a day for this phone to upload them. And that's all I got right now, so it's more than like yesterday. It was probably like 2 or 3 days ago, maybe even. The video where I said that I was seeing this shape that looked like a dog toy, and it was yellow colored. I did not mention that it was banana yellow. It just didn't seem important at the time. I don't know that it is now, but since I'm talking about it, it's probably going to lead to something somewhere at some time. So anyway, but that's why I thought it was thought of dog toy. Like, I knew it was not a dog toy, and I knew it wasn't a virus, which was the other thing that I said it kind of looked like. And so, yeah, I guess it was about 2 days ago now. And then right before I started to do this, I was like, well, maybe I had said that it's a sacred geometry shape, but I didn't know the name of it. I didn't want to say the wrong name of it, and I was gonna say the wrong name of it. So I'm glad I didn't say anything. The correct name for what I was seeing, you're gonna love this, in sacred geometry is the star tetrahedron, which was a shape that was, when I first started learning about like mystery schools and stuff, shapes were forbidden, and the tetrahedron, the star tetrahedron, was forbidden to talk about. And when I go on talking about it, that may become clear why. Not completely, but since mystery schools are routinely discovered and destroyed in the past, that should give you a clue. So the star tetrahedron, I look up the shapes. What are the names of sacred geometry shapes? Like, I finally figured out how to find out what the heck the name of the thing was. Star tetrahedron. Here's what it said. The merkaba is represented by the star tetrahedron, symbolizing balance, stability, the integration of masculine, logic and rationality, and feminine, emotion and intuition energies, crucial for spiritual growth and aligning with one's true purpose. Light body activation facilitated through merkaba meditation aims to purify the physical and spiritual selves, leading to a state where the physical body is increasingly filled with light. This process involves 12 activation levels, starting with yearning for the true self and culminating in life on earth as a spiritual berry? A being or berry, if you're into that kind of thing. Sorry. Merkaba meditation involves breathing techniques, visualization, and intention setting to activate and harmonize energy fields around the body, promoting spiritual growth and healing. So, for some reason, it's beat me over the head with it, spirit. has been beating me over the head with something about the merkaba. And then there was another thing that happened recently. It didn't all happen on one day. There was like a lead up to it. And I've talked about that too, and it was my interest in the Essenes all of a sudden, and my realization at some point that, well, it wasn't my realization, I just was reminded of something that I had been told in the past many times in like Catholic school and church, because I mean, if you're a Catholic and you've done those things, you know that Palestine comes up a lot. I never thought about it too much because honestly, when I was in the school or the church, my main thought was, when is this over and when can I get out of here? And it wasn't so much about the instruction, it was more about the place and the people I had to be in the places with. So and church was just like, I don't know, you're a kid, it's just a droning on and on. And if you're me, if you're that kid, you're like, okay already, is it over yet? You don't know what you're in there listening to. They don't clarify it very well, because I don't think it was understood very well, even for like the students and because priests and nuns are like, a lot of what they do is study and spiritual study. Oh, not supposed to do that. Curses. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, Palestine comes up a lot, and but I haven't attended study in church or school, theological school, Catholic school. Well, you're supposed to get the other education too, but there's a lot of the theological involved when you're at Catholic school. So, yeah, it's been years, really. And when I was in the school, like I said, I didn't want to really be there hearing that stuff. Like, I didn't mind being in school and learning and hanging out with people, but there were just some aspects of it where you're like, oh my God. It just went on and didn't really mean anything, so it was just like, oh my God, I'm turning into the pew, the bench. So all of that was to introduce the fact that I saw this other, I think I even mentioned it, I saw this other shape of, like, I think it was sacred geometry or something along those lines, but my first impression of it was that it was it's like a series of triangles, and I swear it almost looks like an airship flight formation, or airship, I don't know, fight or flight formation, some kind of aircraft formation. So, passenger jets just fly on their own. They don't fly in groups, so it's like some kind of fighter thing. But it's not that, though. It is like a sacred geometry thing, and I didn't even know how to look this one up. I'll try in a minute when I get done with this, or at some point. I'll try to look it up. But the fighter formation thing, I mean, if you had this image on a computer screen, especially one from like the Tron era, which would have been late 70s, just like Commodore 64 looking era type screen, like old screen, old style, or like War Games, that movie with, I think, Matthew Broderick was in it, and I don't, that's about a different kind of thing, but that era of computer screen and imagery, because I'm the word for the pictures that are made on the computer screen that are like not a photo image. Can't think of the name of it. So anyway, display. Oh my god, thank you. So yeah, the display, the interface is just old-fashioned, and or like 2001, the movie, even the computer screens and that from that era is, anyway, that's kind of what it looked like. Oh my god, why can't I get it out? So and then the other thing, like, I don't know why, but like, spaceships are in the shape of triangles or little darts and are often called darts. Although I don't know of like Earth ships that are called darts. I'm sure that's maybe a thing. It could be, but I know it from TV shows with space ships. But the thing is, like I always say, that's exposure to that kind of thing. Like, that stuff is channeled. Like, creativity is channeled to us. We get inspiration from spirit, muses, all that sort of like cloudy, misty spiritual gases that we like inhale. We ingest them and creativity comes out. However the individual manifests that. So why the heck am I talking about that? I don't know. Because I want to be talking about this. Oh, the ships, right? So, to my knowledge, Earth ship fleet havers, fighter ship fleet havers, the military does not have a dart like in Stargate, you name it, where or in Stargate, like universe, I'm talking about this time because that's the latest one I watched, where the foe, the enemy, has these ships that are called darts, and they're very pointy. Like, if you see them, they look like a dart. But then there's like other ships that are known as darts, like the shuttle on Star Trek. Those things could be dart ships, because I believe they're just like basically space minivans. But what were the enemy in that last Stargate I watched? I can't even remember now. Oh my god, it was just last week, for God's sake. Well, anyway, I'll make a note of it. Maybe I can remember to put it in the information box. Stargate UFOs. What were they? Well, they definitely had the machines, but I'm thinking of the Wraith. The Wraith ships. But in the other star fleets, there were other enemies, and their ships were also darts. So that makes me think. Oh, and then the Stargate people's shuttles were puddle jumpers, I think they were called. At least in, well, I don't know. In the last one, maybe Stargate Atlantis too, so Universe and Atlantis maybe, there were puddle jumpers, and they define in the show why that is. But it doesn't diverge far from the name, so you don't have to go looking for that unless you're like a Stargate stan and you just gotta know that Easter egg. So ship imagery, as I'm saying, is, for some reason I'm getting a lot with that image that I saw, but it is not that. And then the other thing about it was that it goes back to that Palestine and thing, and the Essenes and the Gnostics, and I haven't like gotten around to finding out the details of why, like, I know why the Essenes were run out of town. I haven't gotten there yet either, but I can guess it was their philosophies and their ideas, and probably the fact that they were clannish with a C. They kept to themselves, and they had, like, probably things and activities and ways about them that were mysterious to everyone else, and they were, like, pretty big on just, like, learning the stuff and shutting up about it, like, not taking their business into the streets. Different kind of thing, different kind of business that usually gets taken out into the street. But anytime, man, if your religion is not getting it right with the people that are not part of your religion and are also other religions that are like competition, they are not going to like whatever you're doing, especially if you're quiet about it. So they weren't doing anything bad. Like, some of their beliefs diverged from like state beliefs, like you had to believe things. Like, I don't know that the Romans were involved back then. I'll have to check. I don't have that history all cemented into my brain, but there was probably some overreaching government, royalty agency, something oppressing them for what they were doing, because they didn't want them doing it enough to almost exterminate them completely. And then the ones that survived and kept maintaining, like, the knowledge, like the mysterious stuff, the mystery school stuff, were the Gnostics, among others. And so I guess that is what the surviving Essenes became known as. And then I'm sure it just goes through history, like, whoever is doing something that's actually really cool, but the system is against it, or like encourages independent thought, or you for some reason stepping out of line, it is just not good. And the reason why I bring them up is because they are highly associated with the Red Sea Scrolls, which kind of gives you a clue into their whole kind of personality and theocracy, I guess you could call it. But it's written in cuneiform. And I also thought, when I saw that sacred geometry shape with all the little triangles of cuneiform, and I thought, well, if I could, it actually, I mean, if it is cuneiform, it's just going, it's just saying the same thing over and over. But it just reminded me of it. So, I don't know, it's just weird, like, ships, well, you're going somewhere, where they're fleeing, moving to somewhere else. And if so many people were after them, my gosh, how did whoever squeak through and escape? Ships, darts in the night, taken away to a safer location by spirit, perhaps. If you think that sounds crazy, then there's something to it, though. And the Mayans have a similar story, or the Anasazi, people that were there, that left a rich history that seemed pretty freaking cool, and then, like, they're gone. But I have been learning that gone is not always gone. Remember the bees were gone, like, last year or 2 years ago? The bees are coming back. The bees are back. So glad the bees are coming back. Crabs, if it hasn't gotten public notice of how scarce it has gotten, you can't even really send out the people that used to work on the ships to go get the crab that everybody was eating that came from the Pacific Northwest, because I live in that area. They're barely, been able to bring on enough to, well, they're having a hard time. Like, the catches are really tiny, like, just not even worth going out almost. And there's no way for them to measure or even understand, unless you listen to the psychics like I did, that were talking about it over the summer. Like, yeah, the crabs are gonna get scarce, and the tendency, I think, is for us who don't know about that conversation that I'm referencing with the psychics. They just think the crab is gone, like the fisher people, because like I said, I don't think amongst the general public they don't really know about like this crab scarcity, although it might be happening with lobster too. Something's up with them. Sticking to the crab though. So the crab are not just gone, never to be seen again. The crab are going, they've gone deep. They've gone deep cover to recover and heal, because the water is too warm and it's like messing with their shells and their health. So they have gone off to isolate and, regroup, rebuild their numbers, and I hope acclimate to what's happening in the water. Not because I need crab to be fished so I can eat it, or even to be fished so people can have a job, although that is a consideration for people. I just want, like, the crabs to be happy. Alright, so, just one last thing about the Palestine and the Essenes and the cuneiform and the ships. The only thing that I can sort of, actually I can't sort of make sense of that yet. I'm being told. I guess I'm being told that that's not ready yet to put my fork away. I'll get back to you on that one. So here's what I feel. Got this Queen of Wands here, and as you can see, she's like not necessarily super young, which is fine. And look what she's got in her hand. One of those decorated pool cue things that's not a pool cue. But it does... man, I'm not going to go there. I'm taking too long already. Let's just say that she's whooped it up, she's partied, and she is settled. I mean, she's a queen of wands. So she has, like, reached her majority, like she's mature. But not just, like, age-wise, like, emotionally mature. And also secure with herself, like... She got her kitty on there too. I was just gonna say, she's so comfortable on her little bean bag. And I was just noticing, well, I've noticed it before, but she's like surrounded with candles, and she's got loose, flowing clothing on. She's not at all worried. Like, eventually she's gonna have to get up, right? So, but she ain't worried about it. She's not worried about the cuff of her pants or the string that's, holding the ankle part tight, cinched to her leg. She's not worried about, like, walking by and catching on fire. And the cat is also quite comfortable. You kind of can't see the cat there at her feet. It's funny, too, because there's a lot of videos with black cats. There it is. Against a black background that you don't see until they open their eyes. It's funny. But anyway, there's no discomfort here at all. This fact is all comfort. She's comfortable with herself. The cat is, like, detecting nothing to be upset about. And it's just kind of like everything in her world is, well, dang, look how happy she is. Look at her face. She is, like, cracking up. She's, like, positively gleeful. No worries. Big time no worries. And, boy, I know that's a secret we all kind of aspire to. And, this also kind of is like a secret thing, but it kind of looks like to me this guy is chasing after the bird. And it's funny because I feel like, what are you, racing the bird? Are you trying to get somewhere before the bird does? And I'm wondering, like, who can go faster? I bet the bird. But I'm. It just looks like a race. I don't think that's what it is. I think the bird is just like a symbol of good tidings. And you might think that, you see this guy's got a bow on his back, right? And you might think, oh man, he's gonna like shoot that bird out of the sky or something to make sure it can't beat him to wherever they're both going. But if you notice, I want to make sure before I start talking that I'm not crazy. Look at his bow. What do you associate with a bow? You don't hear me saying bow and arrow because there's no arrows on there. I don't even know, like, maybe this this bit here is the quiver and it's just stowed the way he's got it, because I don't know, I don't think it's a crossbow, because where's the handle? That would be either sticking up or on his back, so that must be the quiver, right? And the quiver's where you keep the arrows, but I don't see any arrows. Do you? So I don't think that, boy, those arrows must be totally metaphorical. They're messages. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that, I don't think he's chasing the bird. I do think the bird is a sign of good tidings. And I think that's where he's rushing off to. But it's like her, I was talking about the secret to her happiness. I feel like that's what this is talking about. It's like racing off, but not running away, like running to the next connection, like making connections. I mean, this is all like good tidings. The guy is he's got a bow, so he's some kind of hunter, but he must be a hunter of information or ideas, because he's got no arrows in his quiver. And I feel like this is her. She made her way to this space of peace and happiness and joy, really, without having to shoot any arrows, because she is a lover. But all of this is, I feel like, representative of like a spirit of people that I would think would want to attain, that we would aspire to. Because, like, look how happy she is, look how much fun she's having, and it's all about, like, she's just secure in herself, in her space, in her place. It doesn't even, look where she is. Can you even describe where that is? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter where she is, because she can take that with her everywhere she goes. Everywhere she goes, running off to, she takes that spirit with her. Wherever she's going, she takes that spirit of good tidings with her. And yeah, I'm sure this happens. And I'm sure that this is something that many of us aspire to, and it can, and it will happen, but you have to get to that space in your heart, in your mind, to draw that in. But it's also, it's not just about being lovers. It's about being partners in something you go do. I can't think of the word. Dang it, I hate. Well, oh, and look at here. she's got the arrow in her bow. Whoa. Wow. So she doesn't need to hunt anymore. She can pin that thought with that arrow. She has found the love. And that is the unconditional love, because when you find that in yourself, look at what you get. You accept yourself however you are, whatever it is. Like, all of these things are, I feel like, stuff that you have to grow into, like with the maturity and the emotional maturity and that. But it's like a contract you make with yourself and with everyone else to, go out and find the happiness for yourself. Like, things will come to you, but you also have to make certain efforts, like with the emotional and spiritual healing. It takes time for most of us to figure that stuff out. And then in the meantime, the world is going on around you. You got the good times and the bad times. And can I just say that, like, whatever the bad time is, whatever the tragedy, whatever the horror, remember, if you're gonna, like, take my view for a moment while you're here, all of this stuff is stuff that we decided to do beforehand. So tragedy and horror, yep, we're gonna experience that. We wanted to. We definitely signed up for that. And so she's not, like, real upset about having to juggle those things. She's got, like, we all do, our just regular old attendance in life. Like having to get up every day and attend to our bodies, and then branch out from there, spread out from there, and attend to your responsibilities in life. And then you got the stuff on your mind. You got the spiritual stuff. You got, I don't know, what else is there after all of that other stuff? Other things, I'm sure, but she's not real concerned about that. She's a good juggler. And she's, like, on her way to knowing that this can be her, she can attain that sort of solidity and security in herself, and that would extend to her life. And it's a process, and this generally is like a nostalgia card, but you learn from the past, and this is it's funny because people have said to me, why do you always just remember the bad things that happen? Like, you don't remember the good stuff. I don't think that's true. I remember the good stuff. But just remember, it's not just all rosy and warm-hearted like everything about this card is giving out. It's that, and it's everything. It's up and down, the ups and the downs and everything in between. Like, you gotta, like, pin all of that emotion and love, or pin everything so that you can get to that place of emotion and love. Like, you just have to learn to navigate. It's always there, It's just the ups and downs bring us to these places where we kind of, like, lose the thread, like, and it's not the end of the world. It happens to everyone. You you doubt your faith, let's say. Like, you know it's there, and something comes up along to make you question it, And this always reminds me of a traffic signal, and it is signaling to me here a number of things. Stages, like caution, where you're learning your way, and then like stopping, red, emergency, caution. The signal is like, watch out, that's ahead if you keep going. And then once you determine the way is clear, you get a green light to go, right? Here's the other thing, though, that I was getting here. It is what is it? Do I have to look? There's three things. The Three of Pentacles. I'm just going to quick look up what it says before I say what I was about to say. The Three of Pentacles. Where are you? The three symbolizes successful teamwork. A group of different people has come together to achieve an early success. Interesting. So, that's in my way. I was looking at this, and it's a textile that they're working on. It's a weaving. It's a group project. And I thought, that kind of makes me think of the Fates. And since there's three of them, like maybe the three of them are all assigned to a particular part of the signal. Like someone teaches you caution. You learn like where you're going and what to do on the way and when you get there. This one weaves in whatever you need to know about like danger, like how to see it, how to be aware of it, how to avoid it, how to deal with it if you can avoid it. And if you get through that, or when you get through that, then you've learned the way clear to go forward. But the reason why I thought the Fates especially, well, there's three of them for one thing. There's three Fates, past, present, and future. And then there's like yarn, balls of yarn, like they are weaving. Like it couldn't be more. Hi, we're weaving. Sorry, it was just kind of loud. And one of the things, the reasons why you would want to go through all of this and make your way toward finding your true self and culminating in living on earth as a spiritual being. So one of the things you do when you get on this journey is you bring light to the darkness. Like we got plenty now going on in the world, and there's light, but I feel like light needs to be shined on the light so people know that this is happening. There's like all these like Samaritans out there that you can find on YouTube doing wonderful things to help people that have a hard time getting help and that need it, that people are not like caring about for terrible reasons, I think, because once again, and it happened today, I saw somebody just saying that all of the homeless people decided to be there because they want to be on drugs and they just gave up and they're not trying. And I think, God, what a cold, cold image you have of other people, and how dumb are you? There's all of the world telling you how and why this is happening to people. And it's not like you can have 50 bootstraps on your boot, but if there's nothing to pull up to, it doesn't make any sense. Stop telling people to do that. And also, like, the physics of it, I guess, is impossible. You're standing in your boot. How are you going to pull yourself up by it? if you pull on your boot, you're gonna pull your face into the ground. Like, think of it. Duh. Sorry. So yeah. Bring light to the darkness, and then also, I guess, to shine light on the light. Like, that is part of, realizing your spiritual self is like, you want to build and expand and spread that love, that unconditional love, the partnership that we all made, that are here, awake or not. We're here to populate and propagate this awakening of ours, this shift. It's like something we're all doing, and there's ups and downs, there's good times and bad times and everything in between. But when you are when you're remembering who you are and your purpose in life, why you're here, however that's defined for you, because it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different skill set, different things that they'll even notice, because not everybody that's awake and like turned on and has abilities and psychic stuff and all of that, not everybody has access to every single thing. I mean, maybe you can access it, but you got to work on being able to get that access to open up to you or something, or to have that access make sense to you, like the merkaba thing with the dog toy and the germ or the virus. Why would you want to, like, and that's not an image I gave to myself, by the way. I didn't give myself the image of the dog toy and the merkaba. I mean, maybe I did, that my higher self gave me, so that I can, like, kind of wake up more to who I'm supposed to be. But the dog toy and the banana yellow of it, like, all of those things make a smile in my mind. Like, it just, like, play with this image and enjoy it. To enjoy the mystery of the experience. And when it opens up to you, I'm just getting this, like, in the moment. When it opens up to you, it's because you got yourself in the right vibration and you were feeling the right way for that openness. That particular opening can open and let in, like, all of the benefits of being the spiritual being, of aligning with the energies. And I guess, and I totally have been working on, I talked about it, the joining of, like, my two hemispheres, and representing like the masculine and the feminine side of us all. That was me recognizing and understanding that for what it is. And like, meditating on it, doing the mudra to encourage it. This one, I don't know, it just got important to me to, like, be able to do my part. But you kind of have to understand it, and the more understanding you get, the more information you get about it, the more understanding begets understanding, I guess. And so it's like in the US and other places too, but I like to kind of stick to here, just if I'm gonna try to get detailed on things. But there is a lot that we have to go through and experience. Well, we don't have to, I guess. We don't have to experience trauma to gain knowledge. It's how we have done. It's how we usually have for a long time. But maybe that's part of, like, leveling up your understanding. You get to a place where You can recognize that bridge from not knowing what you want to know or need to know to that which you need to gain knowledge of. Maybe we can learn to recognize the bridge and then like totally like dispense with the trauma. I just heard a couple of times, so when I hear something that I haven't like clicked on and tried to get myself more than once, I feel like it's something's trying to tell me something. And what it was saying though was pretty clear, and it was, you don't really need to go through the trauma to get to the upgrade, you know. So the beloved card number 2, and the subtitle is Radical Acceptance. This is from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And I feel like, well, it says beloved, and when it comes down to it, like the knowledge, the arcana that I have learned, it tells me that to advance this cause, for us all to shift and get to those next levels of eventually remembering unconditional love, because that is the goal. We do have to go through some stuff, you know, like before we discover that the bridge doesn't have to be burning for us to cross it, you know, or else it's, you know, coming more and more into the unconditional love, which is fierce and strong. But, you know, maybe it's not a fire that burns you in a traditional sense. Maybe it's a fire that toasts you, lightly toasts you with the knowledge of how to access that unconditional love and for yourself, and in that way you understand that bridge to cross to bring unconditional love to everyone else. Holy moly. Okay. I think I've said enough. Thank you and good night.